Are you about to see the most snow in a decade? In the next 25 minutes, you will know the exact hour the storm hits your street. 12 inches could fall in just 3 hours. But here is what nobody is telling you. Some neighborhoods will get buried while streets 2 miles away stay bare. The difference comes down to one invisible weather pattern I am about to show you. Right now, 72 million Americans are in the path. Winter storm warnings cover the entire state of North Carolina, all of South Carolina except the coast, eastern Tennessee, parts of Georgia, but warnings mean nothing without knowing when it starts, when it peaks, and when you can finally breathe. Stick with me for 30 seconds and I will give you the first critical number, the exact temperature that determines whether you get powder or ice. 34 degrees Fahrenheit. That is your magic number. When temperatures hover right at 34 degrees, you get the wettest, heaviest snow that breaks tree branches and power lines. Below 28 degrees, light fluffy powder that blows around but does not stick to power lines. This storm will swing wildly between both. And at the 3-minute 20-second mark of this video, I will show you exactly which cities get crushed and which ones dodge the worst. But first, let me prove I know what I am talking about. The polar vortex lobe we discussed 4 days ago, it is arriving exactly on schedule. The coastal low forming off the Carolina coast, developing right now as predicted. The northern stream energy diving south to scoop up Gulf moisture, happening at this very moment. Every single piece is falling into place. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what frontogenesis means? You are about to. Because this single weather phenomenon will determine whether you shovel 3 inches or 18 inches tomorrow morning. Frontogenesis is a $50 meteorology word for a simple concept. When warm air pushes against cold air in the middle atmosphere, not at ground level, it creates explosive lift. Think of it as a weather elevator shooting straight up. When that happens, snow does not fall gently. It dumps. Multiple inches per hour. I am talking about snowfall so intense you cannot see across your yard. Thundersnow. Lightning during a blizzard. And tomorrow morning between 8 a.m. and noon, a frontogenesis band will park over someone watching this video right now. If it sits over your house for 2 hours, you will measure 12 inches by lunchtime. The question is where? And I'm going to tell you. But comment below right now with your city and state. Tell me where you are watching from. Because in the second half of this video, I am going to list over 70 cities with specific timing, and I need to know you are getting the forecast for your exact location. Let me show you something fascinating on the Mesoscale models. We are now inside 24 hours from storm initiation, which means we can stop looking at the big continental weather maps and zoom into the details. The RGM model, our highest resolution forecast tool, shows warm air advection at 850 millibars. That is about 1 mile up. Not at the surface. This matters enormously. Warm air expands. When it expands in a layer above cold surface air, it lowers the pressure in that zone. Lower pressure creates rising motion. Rising motion wrings out moisture, and when you wring out moisture in sub-freezing air, you get dumped on. This warm air advection zone shows up as an orange and red band on our models. And watch what it does. Starting at 6 a.m. Saturday morning, the band forms over upstate South Carolina near Greenville and Spartanburg. By 9 a.m., it slides northeast toward Charlotte. By 11 a.m., it intensifies over the Research Triangle of Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Then by 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon, it absolutely explodes along the coast from Wilmington to the Outer Banks. Whoever sits under that band for multiple hours will see historic snowfall. But models disagree on the exact track. The European model crushes the Western Carolinas with 6 to 10 inches in Greenville, Spartanburg, and Columbia, then adds another pocket of heavy snow around Greenville, North Carolina, up to New Bern and Rocky Mount. But it shows lighter amounts in Raleigh and almost nothing in Myrtle Beach. The NAM model does the exact opposite. It shows 2 feet along Interstate 95. Now, 2 feet is probably overdone. I would cap the ceiling at 12 to 18 inches, even in the best-case scenario. But the NAM robs areas to the west, showing only 3 to 4 inches in the Piedmont and mountains. The Canadian model splits the difference, spreading heavy snow across both zones. The GFS model also spreads things out more evenly. Every major computer forecast model puts heavy snow somewhere in the Carolinas tomorrow. They just cannot agree where. This is the nightmare scenario for forecasters, but it is also reality with these mesoscale snow bands. They are like tornadoes embedded in a squall line. Somebody gets demolished. The neighborhood next door barely gets touched. So, what can we do? We look at probabilities. The blend of all models shows the highest chance of 6 inches or more sits between Columbia and Charlotte, and also out east toward the coast. For a foot of snow, the probability peaks just south of Charlotte toward the South Carolina border. 51% chance in that zone. That is remarkable. We rarely see probabilities that high for 12-inch snowfall. The second zone with foot-plus potential runs from Virginia Beach south through Elizabeth City into the Albemarle Sound and Pamlico Sound regions of eastern North Carolina. My gut? Based on 15 years of forecasting these storms, the frontogenesis band sets up in one of those two zones. Pink regions on the winter storm warning map have the best shot at historic totals. Now let me give you city-by-city timing. This is what you stayed for. Here we go. Atlanta, Georgia. Light snow begins late Friday night around 11 p.m. Peak Saturday morning 9 a.m. to noon with snowfall rates up to 1 inch per hour. Ends by Saturday evening 6 p.m. Total 4 to 7 inches, heaviest north of the city. Athens, Georgia. Snow starts midnight Friday. Heaviest snow Saturday morning 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wraps up by 7 p.m. Saturday. Total 5 to 9 inches. Greenville, South Carolina. Snow begins 1 a.m. Saturday morning. Intense rates from 8 a.m. to noon Saturday. Ends by 6 p.m. Total 6 to 12 inches. Highly dependent on band position. Spartanburg, South Carolina. Same timing as Greenville. Starts 1 a.m. Saturday. Peaks 8 to noon. Ends by 6 p.m. Total 7 to 11 inches. Columbia, South Carolina. Snow arrives 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Heaviest 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday. Tapers off by 7 p.m. Total 5 to 10 inches, with isolated foot totals possible if the band stalls. Florence, South Carolina. Begins 3 a.m. Saturday. Peak intensity 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday. Ends by 9 p.m. Total 4 to 8 inches. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is tricky. Most models show light amounts here. Snow starts 4 a.m. Saturday, briefly moderate Saturday afternoon, ends by 8 p.m. Total 2 to 5 inches, possibly less. You are on the southern fringe. Charleston, South Carolina. Similar to Myrtle Beach. Light snow begins 4 a.m. Saturday. Never gets too intense. Ends by 7 p.m. Total 1 to 3 inches. You are barely in this. Charlotte, North Carolina. This is a big one. Snow begins 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Moderate to heavy snow develops rapidly by 8 a.m. Peak intensity 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday with rates potentially exceeding 2 inches per hour if the band parks overhead. Snow continues moderate through evening, finally ending Sunday morning around 2 a.m. Total 8 to 15 inches. This could be the biggest Charlotte snow since January 2014. Greensboro, North Carolina. Snow starts 4 a.m. Saturday. Heaviest 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Ends late Saturday night around 11 p.m. Total 6 to 11 inches. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Nearly identical to Greensboro. Begins 4 a.m. Peaks 10 to 3. Ends 11 p.m. Saturday. Total 7 to 12 inches. Raleigh, North Carolina. Critical zone. Snow begins 5 a.m. Saturday morning. Watch for explosive intensification between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Saturday as the frontogenesis band arrives. Snowfall rates could hit 2 to 3 inches per hour during this window. Snow finally tapers late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Total 7 to 16 inches, with the high end very possible. Durham, North Carolina. Same forecast as Raleigh. You are in the bullseye zone. Begins 5 a.m., goes crazy late morning through mid-afternoon, ends overnight. Total 8 to 15 inches. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Identical to Raleigh and Durham. Research triangle gets hammered together. Total 7 to 16 inches. Fayetteville, North Carolina. Snow arrives 6 a.m. Saturday. Peaks early afternoon, noon to 4 p.m. Lingers into Sunday morning. Total 6 to 12 inches. Wilmington, North Carolina. Coastal storm intensification zone. Snow begins 7 a.m. Saturday. Peak intensity 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday with potential for very heavy bands and thundersnow. Strong winds develop with gusts to 50 miles per hour, creating blizzard conditions Saturday night. Snow ends early Sunday morning. Total 6 to 14 inches. Outer Banks, North Carolina. This could be historic. Snow begins 9 a.m. Saturday. Rapidly intensifies by noon Saturday. Peak intensity, Saturday afternoon and evening, with snowfall rates potentially exceeding 3 inches per hour. Sustained winds 40 to 60 miles per hour. And frequent thundersnow. Blizzard conditions are expected Saturday night into Sunday morning. Snow finally ends Sunday afternoon. Total 10 to 20 inches is possible in some locations. Dare County could see ratios we have not witnessed in decades. Greenville, North Carolina. Not to be confused with Greenville, South Carolina. Snow starts 6 a.m. Saturday. Heaviest 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Ends late Saturday night. Total 8 to 13 inches. Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Begins 6 a.m. Saturday. Peaks noon to 4 p.m. Ends late night. Total 7 to 12 inches. New Bern, North Carolina. Coastal location. Snow starts 7 a.m. Saturday. Intensifies sharply afternoon into evening. Ends early Sunday. Total 8 to 14 inches. Elizabeth City, North Carolina. You are in a prime position for very heavy snow. Begins 8 a.m. Saturday. Goes insane Saturday afternoon and evening. Blizzard conditions likely Saturday night. Ends Sunday morning. Total 10 to 18 inches. Now let me hit Virginia cities. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Same setup as the Outer Banks. Snow begins 9 a.m. Saturday. Peak intensity Saturday afternoon through Saturday night. Blizzard conditions Saturday night. Ends Sunday midday. Total 8 to 16 inches. Norfolk, Virginia. Identical to Virginia Beach. Begins 9 a.m. Peaks afternoon and night. Blizzard conditions overnight. Ends Sunday noon. Total 9 to 15 inches. Richmond, Virginia. Snow arrives 5 a.m. Saturday. Peaks late morning to mid-afternoon. Ends late Saturday night. Total 5 to 10 inches, less than the coast. Roanoke, Virginia. Snow begins 2 a.m. Saturday. Steady, moderate to heavy snow Saturday morning through afternoon. Ends Saturday evening. Total 6 to 11 inches. Charlottesville, Virginia. Starts 3 a.m. Saturday. Peaks mid-morning to early afternoon. Ends Saturday evening. Total 5 to 9 inches. Lynchburg, Virginia. Snow begins 3 a.m. Saturday. Heaviest 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ends Saturday night. Total 6 to 10 inches. Now Tennessee cities. Knoxville, Tennessee. This has trended better for you. Snow begins midnight Friday into Saturday. Steady snow Saturday morning. Peaks late morning to early afternoon. Ends Saturday evening. Total 5 to 9 inches. Higher elevations could see 12 inches. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Mountain enhancement kicks in. Snow starts 11 p.m. Friday. Heavy at times Saturday morning through afternoon. Ends Saturday evening. Total 8 to 14 inches. Tri-Cities region. Tennessee, Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City. Snow begins 11 p.m. Friday. Peaks Saturday morning through early afternoon. Ends Saturday evening. Total 6 to 12 inches. Chattanooga, Tennessee. On the western fringe, light snow begins 1 a.m. Saturday. Picks up slightly Saturday morning but never gets heavy. Ends Saturday afternoon. Total 2 to 5 inches. Now let me cover areas that will see less. Birmingham, Alabama. Mostly a miss. Flurries to light snow. Saturday morning, maybe an inch or two north of the city. Most areas see little to nothing. Huntsville, Alabama. Better than Birmingham. Light to moderate snow Saturday morning to early afternoon. Total 2 to 5 inches. Asheville, North Carolina. Mountain City. Snow begins 2 a.m. Saturday. Moderate to heavy at times Saturday morning and early afternoon. Ends Saturday evening. Total 5 to 10 inches. Higher peaks see more. Boone, North Carolina. High elevation. Snow starts 1 a.m. Saturday. Heavy at times Saturday. Ends Saturday evening. Total 8 to 15 inches. Now let me address the Northeast quickly because I know you are wondering. Boston, Massachusetts. Mostly a miss. This storm tracks too far south, maybe some light snow or flurries Sunday. Total, a coating to 1 inch. Providence, Rhode Island. Same story. Little to nothing. Maybe a dusting Sunday. Hartford, Connecticut. Dusting to 1 inch Sunday at most. New York City. Nothing. Maybe flurries Sunday. This is not your storm. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Not much. Flurries to 1 inch Sunday. Washington, D.C. Light snow Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Total, 1 to 3 inches. Baltimore, Maryland. Light to moderate snow Saturday evening into Sunday. Total, 2 to 5 inches. Cape Cod, Massachusetts. You are the exception in the Northeast. Snow begins late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Moderate to heavy snow Sunday morning through Sunday afternoon with strong winds gusting 50 to 60 miles per hour. Coastal flooding likely. Ends Sunday evening. Total 5 to 10 inches. Now, here is the plot twist nobody is talking about. After the snow stops, the wind keeps blowing. And this is light, fluffy snow. Even if you only get 6 inches, by Sunday afternoon it will look like you got 2 feet because it is blowing into massive drifts. Winds gust 30 to 50 miles per hour across the Carolinas Saturday night. In coastal areas, gusts reach 60 miles per hour. Blizzard warnings are very likely for the Outer Banks, probably for Virginia Beach and Norfolk, possibly for Elizabeth City and the Albemarle Sound. Even in the Piedmont, where blizzard warnings are unlikely, you will have blowing snow, reducing visibility to near zero at times Saturday night into Sunday morning. This creates a life-threatening travel situation. If you get stranded in your car Saturday night in these conditions, even with a full tank of gas, you are in serious danger. Temperatures drop into the teens. Wind chills fall below zero Sunday morning across much of the affected area. Frostbite can occur in under 10 minutes. Power outages are very likely, especially in areas that see heavy, wet snow early Saturday morning before it transitions to lighter snow. That early snow at 34 degrees will coat and stick to power lines and tree branches. Then temperatures drop, winds increase, and branches snap. Some areas could be without power for days. Here is what you need to do right now. Charge every device. Fill your bathtub with water in case you lose water pressure. If you have a generator, get it ready but never run it indoors. Stock up on batteries, flashlights, and non-perishable food. Get your prescriptions filled now. If you have pets, bring them inside. This is not weather for animals to be outdoors, even if they usually stay outside. Bring in outdoor furniture that could blow away. Clear your gutters now before the snow arrives. Make sure your roof is in good condition. 6 inches of light powder weighs about 5 pounds per square foot. A foot of wet snow weighs 20 pounds per square foot. Do the math on your roof size. And here is the most important thing. Do not travel Saturday. I do not care if it is your anniversary, your kid's birthday party, or an important meeting. It is not worth your life. We are going to see accidents. We are going to see people stranded. We are going to see injuries. Do not be one of them. Now let me address what happens after the storm. The cold blast following this system is brutal. Sunday morning wind chills will be 5 to 15 degrees below zero across much of the Carolinas, Virginia, and Tennessee. Monday morning, even colder. Actual air temperatures drop into the single digits, with wind chills 20 to 30 below zero. This snow is not melting anytime soon. Whatever falls Saturday will still be on the ground a week from now, maybe 2 weeks from now. We are entering a prolonged deep freeze. This is the coldest pattern we have seen in years. And here is something interesting that nobody is talking about yet. Another storm system could develop late next week. It is too early for details, but the pattern supports another coastal low developing around Thursday or Friday of next week. Will it bring more snow? Maybe. Will it bring ice? Possibly. Stay tuned. Now remember at the beginning when I said some neighborhoods get buried while streets 2 miles away stay bare? Here is why. That frontogenesis band is only 20 to 40 miles wide. It is like a fire hose of snow. If it points at you, you get demolished. If it sets up 30 miles away, you get a moderate event. Computer models cannot pinpoint a 20-mile wide feature 5 days in advance. They can barely pinpoint it 24 hours in advance. That is why I am going to be updating constantly. Check back every few hours. The Mesoscale models update every hour now that we are inside the event window. Each new model run will fine-tune where that band sets up. By tonight, we will have a much better idea. By tomorrow morning, as the snow starts, we will know in real time where it is training. Let me give you the worst-case scenario and best-case scenario for the major cities. Charlotte, worst case. The band parks over the city for 4 hours Saturday morning. Snowfall rates hit 3 inches per hour. You wake up Sunday to 20 inches and drifts to 4 feet. Best case, the band stays south toward Columbia or east toward Raleigh. You still get 8 to 10 inches, but not the historic event. Raleigh, worst case, same thing. The band stalls from late morning to mid-afternoon. Thundersnow, 2 to 3 inch per hour rates. You end up with 18 to 20 inches. Best case, the band stays west or slides north too quickly. You get 7 to 9 inches. Outer Banks, worst case, the coastal low bombs out just offshore. The band sets up and does not move for 6 hours. Heavy snow, thundersnow, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and 2 feet of snow. Best case, the low track's a bit farther offshore. You still get a foot, but winds are not quite as bad. Columbia, worst case, the band develops right over the city Saturday morning and barely moves, 12 to 16 inches. Best case, the band stays north. You get 6 to 8 inches. Greenville, South Carolina, worst case. Upslope enhancement combines with the frontogenesis band. 15 inches. Best case, you are west of the heaviest. 6 to 8 inches. Here is my final forecast map. Highest confidence zone for a foot or more. The area from just south of Charlotte through Lancaster and Rock Hill, South Carolina, extending east through Fayetteville to the Raleigh-Durham area, then northeast through Rocky Mount, Greenville, and New Bern, and finally out to Elizabeth City, the Outer Banks, Virginia Beach, and Norfolk. That entire corridor has a legitimate shot at a foot of snow, second tier, 6 to 12 inches, everywhere else under winter storm warnings. That includes upstate South Carolina, the Smokies, eastern Tennessee, the North Carolina Piedmont outside the bullseye zone, and coastal South Carolina. Third tier, 3 to 6 inches. North Georgia, extreme western North Carolina mountains, southern Virginia outside the coastal plain. Less than 3 inches, everywhere else. But remember, these are ranges. If the band sets up over your city, you go from 6 inches to 15 inches. If it misses you, you go from 12 inches forecast down to 5 inches actual. That is just the nature of these banded snow events. One more thing. Thundersnow is likely tomorrow. If you hear thunder during the snowfall, that is the sign you are in the heavy band. When thundersnow occurs, snowfall rates can briefly exceed 4 inches per hour. It is an incredible phenomenon. Lightning during a snowstorm. It happens when the lift in the atmosphere is so strong it creates the same instability you see in summer thunderstorms, just in a winter environment. If you experience thundersnow tomorrow, step outside safely and watch for just a minute. You may never see it again in your lifetime, but then get back inside because visibility will drop to 0. Let me give you the hour-by-hour timeline for Charlotte, since it is the biggest city in the impact zone. 3 a.m., Saturday, snow begins. Light. 4 a.m., picking up, moderate snow. 5 a.m., moderate to heavy. 6 a.m., heavy snow begins. 7 a.m., very heavy snow, rates 1 to 2 inches per hour. 8 a.m., extreme rates possible, 2 to 3 inches per hour if the band arrives. 9 a.m., continued very heavy snow. 10 a.m., same. 11 a.m., same. Noon, snow continues heavy. 1 p.m., possibly starting to lighten slightly. 2 p.m., moderate to heavy. 3 p.m., moderate. 4 p.m., light to moderate. 5 p.m., light. 6 p.m., light. 7 p.m., flurries. 8 p.m., flurries. Then finally ending overnight into Sunday morning. By the time you wake up Sunday morning, Charlotte, you will have 8 to 15 inches on the ground, winds gusting 40 miles per hour, and wind chills below 0. It will be the coldest you have felt in years. Now here is what I need you to do. Comment below with your city right now. Tell me where you are watching from. I will be going live tonight with updated forecasts as new model data comes in. I will be live again tomorrow morning as the snow starts, providing real-time updates on where the heaviest bands are setting up. You need to know if the fire hose is pointed at you. Share this video with your neighbors. They need this information. The local news will give you general forecasts. I am giving you specifics, times, amounts, locations. This is the forecast you need to make decisions. And here is your teaser for the next video. The brutal cold following this storm is going to set up a very interesting pattern late next week. There are signs of a potential ice storm for some of the same areas that get buried in snow tomorrow. I am talking freezing rain, power outages that could last a week or more, and it could hit during the coldest air of the season. I will have a full breakdown of that potential threat in my next forecast. Stay safe, stay warm, charge your devices, stock up now, do not travel tomorrow, and I will see you tonight on the live stream with updated data. The storm of the decade is 12 hours away.